Ladies and gentlemen, Salam Alaikum, and good morning. Let me begin by saying thanks to the Maldives National Defense Force Cultural Band for that fantastic opening ceremony. Join me please in a round of applause again for them. Honorable Minister Nazim, Major General Shiam, other distinguished ministers, general officers, and honored guests. You do, in fact, honor us today with your presence. On behalf of Admiral Locklear, the commander of U.S. Pacific Command, as well as Brigadier General Mark McLeod, the PACOM Director for Logistics, Engineering, and Security Cooperation, it is my distinct honor to represent the United States at the opening of this year's South Asia Regional Environmental Security Forum. The sustained commitment of U.S. Pacific Command to events such as this is yet another reflection of U.S. efforts to rebalance toward this vitally important region. As the senior U.S. military engineer in the Indo-Asia Pacific area, one of my principal missions is to seek out opportunities across the region to enable alliances and partnerships. And through the multilateral exchange of fresh ideas and best practices, we ultimately work together to promote security and prosperity. Today's forum also represents the sustained commitment of all of those participating to address our regional environmental security challenges. Challenges that arise from the abundance or the scarcity of environmental resources and or environmental degradation that can critically impact regional security. Indeed, by sharing information, insights, and strategies, you too, the participants of this forum, are helping to promote security and prosperity in South Asia. I very much applaud the planners and the dignitaries that have contributed so much to bringing this group of experts together. Meeting here this morning is simply the next logical step in a journey that started in 2011. That year, the initial Pacific Environmental Security Forum was held in Hawaii. It featured sessions on climate change and adaptation, environmental sustainability, water resource management, disaster preparedness. And then in 2012, the event moved to Indonesia, to Jakarta, and had a regional focus on Southeast Asia. There, 14 countries met to evaluate top environmental security concerns related to pollution, global warming, deforestation, overfishing, and water supply in an ASEAN context. Last year, the event was Pan-Pacific oriented, and U.S. Pacific Command partnered with the Australian Department of Defense to hold the event in Sydney. And I believe we have some of our Australian colleagues here with us again today. Thank you very much for being here. In Australia, 17 countries came together to discuss sustainable environmental management in military operations, from planning to the closeout of those operations. Lessons learned from military support to disaster relief operations, managing biosecurity risk, emerging technologies, and new approaches to mitigating and adapting to climate change impacts. And now the journey continues here. Last year, the journey continued, next year, the journey will continue, where our partners in Thailand have committed to hosting the event. And I believe there are some representatives from Thailand here today to observe the planning process and gain some feedback and input from all of you. And in Thailand, we will continue the strong legacy that has been established to make this an important engagement for our region. Now, this year, of course, the regional forum is focused on South Asia. I again thank the Maldives National Defense Force for graciously being our host and for being a superb partner in the planning and preparing of all these events in what I know is going to be a very superb week. As you can see from the event booklet that's been distributed, each day features a senior moderator that will guide us through the discussions. We also have subject matter experts speaking on water, water security, waste management, resource protection, and energy. These presentations will challenge us to consider issues and solutions that impact South Asia. After the day's presentation, we'll hold a panel session. And this will allow all of the participants a chance to ask questions, to provide input, recommendations, and to discuss issues. On the afternoon of each day of the conference, some form of interactive event will take place that will help us to operationalize our thoughts. Today, we will work on integrated water resource management activity that uses a modeling tool called shared vision planning. Tomorrow, we will go to Tulustu Island, and learn about the rich Maldivian culture, witness coastal erosion from the 2004 tsunami, see how waste is managed, and learn how a private company there is using desalinized water to make a very prominent globally bottled soft drink. And then on Wednesday, we'll conduct a short tabletop exercise that evaluates our ability to work together, again in a multilateral environment, to respond in the event of an environmental disaster. And in the end, I think that you will find all of these activities informative and worthwhile. Now, as I'm sure that your minister often asked, what is it we are really trying to accomplish in this forum? This year, we want to operationalize environmental security by moving our efforts from mere discussion into action. It's time to take your tangible ideas for partnership and move them into the implementation phase. Ideas into action. Ideas into action. That's what it's all about. Now, each of our speakers will provide a solid foundation for the discussion in the areas that I mentioned: water, waste management, resource protection, and energy. It is up to us, the participants of this conference, to identify targets of opportunity to partner on these topics and then develop resourced strategies. Because as many of you know, it is not a strategy if it does not have resources applied against it. We must develop resourced strategies and implementing activities that ultimately support regional environmental security. I'd like to share just a few examples that are, in my mind, indicative of transforming ideas into action. First, water. And you'll hear more about water, the water topic, later this morning. But my organization, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, is operationalizing water security in partnership with civilian authorities in the United States and across the Asia-Pacific region. Next week, my colleague Michelle Haynes, Dr. Michelle Haynes, who is in the crowd today, will be traveling to Mongolia, where she'll meet with their Ministry of Environment to develop a strategy for implementing integrated water resource management of the Salonge Basin. This strategy will evaluate activities that can be operationalized to promote long-term water security. This might include environmental restoration of wetlands, developing flood risk reduction infrastructure, implementing modified irrigation practices to better conserve water, and many other topics. And these activities that start with discussion will then move forward into a practical application. And we can bundle our actions as well. Rather than looking at waste and energy as two separate topics, we can discuss them in the same context, and we can identify opportunities to merge them into pragmatic application. In the United States military, we are evaluating and using waste to energy solutions to reduce our environmental footprint, to generate alternative power sources, and define sustainable operations for the future. These same approaches, and you know this, these same approaches are already happening across South Asia. I hope to hear from you, the participants, this week about low-cost, alternative approaches that we can, together, operationalize. On day 3 of our conference, we'll center our attention on resource protection. One might wonder, how do we operationalize resource protection? I will tell you that I think here in the Maldives, there are some tremendous examples, and we'll see some of them during our visit to Lusdu later tomorrow. Additionally, as a follow-on to this forum, my U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will be funded to work with the Republic of Maldives to perform an environmental sensitivity index of Adu Atoll. This project will evaluate the human, biological, and coastal resources to ensure proper response plans are available if an oil spill were ever to impact on the atoll. This information can increase civil, military preparedness, protect resources, and better prioritize actions. And we'll learn more about Adu Atoll during our tabletop exercise that is scheduled for Wednesday. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's use this week as an opportunity to think about the military's role in providing environmental security. I will admit that it may not be the same for each country, but I personally believe that there is a role that, when properly managed, planned, and implemented, the military can significantly contribute to environmental sustainability, conservation, and partnership. Therefore, at least in the United States, we feel that it is paramount for civilian and military communities to partner together on environmental security. After all, military, civilian, we are all in this together. And we have limited environmental resources available to us. So I look forward to working with you this week as we harmonize our efforts in mutual coordination and collaboration that benefit the environment, as we take ideas and we transform them into action. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for this opportunity to be with you this morning. Admiral Locklear, I know, sends his very best and wishes everyone a tremendous forum. Thank you very, very much, and best of luck.
First and foremost, it is my honor and a privilege to extend a very warm welcome to all the delegates and participants to Maldives, or as always say, the sunny side of life. We are delighted to co-host the South Asian Regional Environment Forum here in the Maldives, in association with the United States Pacific Command. I would like to express my appreciation to United States Pacific Command and leadership for taking the initiative on this important issue. And today we are witnessing the 4th series of the successful annual event which began in Hawaii 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, the realm of security has moved a long way from the traditional aspect of nation conflicts to face the reality of globalization and increasing borderless world that we are living in today. Environmental security is truly a transnational and global issue. Its effects and implications are not restricted by national borders or region. Hence, it is imperative that we foster greater cooperation and collaboration among countries in facing issues of environmental security. The reality of environmental security and its implication should no longer be an issue of doubt. Every day across the globe, we are witnessing the devastating effects of climate change. These implications not just restrict to a single domain. On the contrary, it has ripple effects on all areas and affects our national and international security. Ladies and gentlemen, South Asia region of diversity ranging from the highest peaks of Himalaya of Nepal to the sandy beaches of low-lying islands of Maldives. We are fortunate to share a bond of strong friendship, cooperation across a multitude of areas. Undoubtedly, it has to be a collective effort to share knowledge and expertise and meet on common platform of mutual benefits to formulate the required policies and strategies. Regional forums such as these are the way forward on these and other issues. Global climate change is a real threat to existing to the Maldives due to its environmental vulnerability to the diverse and the diverse impact of climate change. The 80% of Maldivian island lies in the low elevation, below 1 meter above the sea level, and these islands are exposed to extreme weather events, droughts, flooding, and storm surges. With the melting of polar ice caps, the Maldives is a great risk to a sea level rise. Increase in sea level rise is projected within the range of 10 to 100 centimeters by the year 2100, according to the fourth assessment report of Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which would have devastating effect and impact on the Maldives. Climate change, sea level rise, and environmental degradation are major security challenges faced by islands throughout the Maldives on a regular basis. Furthermore, the depletion of the freshwater tables to the islands and experience water shortage in periods of drought and lack of proper waste management system also poses a significant hazard to the environment and the health of the protection and of the population. Tourism in the Maldives is the largest economic activity accounting for 28% of GDP and more than 60% of foreign exchange receipts. The tourism industry in Maldives is entirely dependent on physical and geographical factors. Due to its dependence on the tourism sector and its geographical location in Maldives, exceptionally vulnerable to climate change, and it's imperative that we ensure sustainable environmental management and undertake mitigation and adaptation measures not only on local but through a coordinated regional approach as well. Looking at the 4 key themes designated for the South Asia Region Environmental Forum, namely water security, solid waste management, resource protection, and energy, I believe these are areas most relevant to the prevailing situation of our region and in an environment to effort towards the economic and social development. I am pleased to note that we have a wide range of participants present for this forum and eminent experts who would be presenting on the key areas that I have mentioned before. I am certain that this forum would be the keystone for further cooperation and a way forward for South Asia on the issues of environmental security. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to once again thank the United States Pacific Command and all parties involved in organizing this important conference. I am confident that this forum would be an insightful and thought-provoking exercise, and that the outcome would be beneficial to all the countries involved in this forum. I wish the forum a success and wish you all a pleasant stay in Maldives. Thank you.